Hey, I just wanted to share with you a couple of things. I did the Sandstone Trail a couple of days ago. There were some things that I did really well and some things that I did not so well. I'm not an ultra marathon runner. I'm not a marathon runner. I'm not a half marathon runner. It's very rare that I would do anything that length. I've wanted to do the Sandstone Trail for a long time. And it's one of those things that was niggling away in the back of my mind for ages. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this one day. And it was never right. There was always a reason. There's always an excuse not to do it. And I woke up on Saturday morning, just gone. And I thought, bugger it, I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter. There's never going to be a time that's right. So just do it. So that's my first thing that I've done right that I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you a few things about I've done right and that and I would do again if I was doing it, but also a few things that I definitely did wrong and I would definitely do different if I do it again. So hopefully this will help you guys, anyone who's doing it for the first time. So the first thing is, as I said, there's never a right time to go for it. So just go for it. I'm fit, but I hadn't done specific training to that length. So it doesn't matter, sheer grit and determination and endurance. If you really want to do it and you're relatively fit, you'll get through it. I did it from Whitchurch to Frodsham. And the reason why I did that was because I live near Whitchurch and the family are all near Whitchurch. So I thought, well, it'll be easier to pick up my car. I won't have to go all the way back to Frodsham, which is like a 40 odd minute drive for me. But also in hindsight, you finish then at the pub in Frodsham, which is ideal, straight into the bar on wobbly legs, to get a couple of pints and sit in a beer garden. And there's a taxi rank directly opposite. So I literally walked into the pub, booked a taxi. They said, yeah, we can pick you up in 5. I said, make it half an hour. I'm going to have 2 pints. Nailed 2 pints, and then I could get a taxi back home. So that was brilliant. So I would do it that way. The other thing that I was glad for was a cap. Now I'm obviously, challenged follically, and I took a running cap, a peaked running cap, a lightweight one, and it was great because it kept the sun off me on the sunny parts. It was also great because there were a few sections where there's low-hanging brambles and thorns and stuff like that, and they just raked your head, but it was fine because I had the hat on, so that was cool. The key, the absolute key of all the things that I did right, the crucial one was walking poles. I got some real cheap Amazon special walking poles, did them up nice and tight, kind of put my hand through the loop like that, not all the way through to your wrist, so I could get a bit of leverage on it. Don't know if that's the right thing to do, but it seemed good to me. And I could grab them and I could literally walk it. Now, I didn't use them at all at the start. I was just carrying them and thinking, why have I brought them? I've never used these before. But come halfway, mile 20 onwards, they were pretty much used all the time, uphill, down hills, even on the flat after a bit. For the last 10 miles, I was doing it. So definitely take walking poles. They were crucial. The things that I didn't get right and I would definitely change were the way in which I did it from Whitchurch to Malpas. Whitchurch to Frodsham. There's a real scruffy farm that you go through just after Whitchurch, probably about 10k in. And this place is dilapidated and clearly not looked after and a real scruffy. The signage is bad, but I was using a Garmin to navigate, which was totally fine. But there's one section of the trail where you then go through what is like a nature reserve farm, and it's really wet. The whole field is wet. The path is wet, and it's been dry. It hasn't rained it rained a little bit one morning recently, but it hasn't rained for weeks and weeks and weeks. So if it was ever going to be dry, now would be the time. And it was still wet. So a bit of a shame, really. There's some areas of path where it was really overgrown with nettles. And again, those walking poles help, but you're just inevitably going to get nettled to bits. So you just have to suck it up and go for it. It actually helps with the numbness of your legs later on. My feet were wet within the first 10k, so they were sodden wet. There was no way around it. It didn't cause me any blisters or problems, but it was uncomfortable and it wasn't very nice. So I think if I was doing it again, maybe I'd even just chuck couple of plastic bags in my backpack, just so when you got to the bit where you inevitably are just going to get wet, just pull some plastic bags up over your feet, wade through, and then whip them off, and you've got dry feet for the rest of the run. It wasn't that nice having wet feet for that whole time. The next thing that I didn't do right, I thought I took enough food and drink. It was lovely and warm. It wasn't sunny all the time, but it was nice. And the conditions were nice, but I nailed through my water really quick. And I also nailed through, I had loads of little Graze bars that I could have in my running pack, could pop them out, just nail them in. I had loads of energy gels that I practiced with before, so that was great. You could just have them on the go. I didn't really stop, apart from when I got to Beeston Castle. The little cafe was open there, thank Christ. And I was absolutely starving, and I nearly finished my snacks. So I got a couple more snacks, and I got just plain sandwich, like ham sandwich. I got a cup of tea and smashed four sugars in that. I don't usually have any sugar. And I also put a few salt sachets in there as well. So before I move on to the next point of salt, I definitely take much more food than you think, because some of these places aren't open along the way as well. I would take basic, like carb, easy digestible, like white bread, and a little bit of protein, maybe ham or tuna or a bit of egg or something in there, something cut up small so you could just pop it in. I definitely take that. I also stopped. There's a place in Delamere, and it's like a little tuck stall outside someone's house, and there's a post box, and there are snacks there and drinks. In this thing, there were cans of lemonade, a bottle of water, and a couple of bags of crisps, and that was it. I only had a £20 note, so I ultimately paid 20 quid for a can of 50p lemonade and 2 bags of crisps, and a bottle of water, a small bottle of water, which I just poured into my pouches. They were the best tasting. It was worth every penny of it at the time, and I didn't even think twice about getting rid of that 20 quid. But maybe just take a £5 or something with you if there are, or a couple of £5s, because people don't necessarily have the change. That's it really for my tips. Would I do it again? Yeah, maybe. I'd definitely do these things, which I'd said. I'd probably try it in reverse, maybe, or move on to another trail that was a bit longer, a bit harder, and plan better for it. Maybe a multi-day hike to see how we're getting on, because I didn't feel too bad the next day. I was a bit hobbly because I've got plantar fasciitis, but I could have that anyway. My legs were a bit stiff just because I hadn't stretched out and looked after myself. I chose to have a pint instead. So I think with a bit of stretching and looking after myself, I could probably do it better. Maybe something bigger. I hope this is useful for you. I hope some of these tips are useful for you. But if you need to know anything else, I'm a total amateur, and I'll be totally honest with you. So drop a comment below, and I'll see how I can help. Good luck.